mental. It's Nerdcore Central.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Nerdcore Central Podcast. It is your boy, Is That Frost, with my co-host,
Professor Kuro, back at it again with another episode. And special guest,
Shwabadi.
yeah,
aka Shwabadi K, hashtag 80K subs. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, my man.
Thank you. Yeah, that happened like this morning, I guess.
It was like yesterday into today.
Yeah. Shit's crazy because I was updating my Twitter bio previously. Every 1K subs I got, I would change it.
Mhm.
And now it goes too fast and I can't do that.
You're like, I go by the 10. I go by the 10.
It's just wild. Yeah.
That's a good problem to
I
have.
have to do it in tens. So
But you know what's crazy? You're only, what, 1 or 2 updates away from that silver plaque, that 100K. 100K because you working every day. That's crazy.
I don't think it'll happen this year, but because I had the big ramp from the Among Us song, and then it's kind of slowing down to a normal level. So I don't think it's going to get 100K this year. But I mean, the fact that I've come this close, I was expecting to just about hit 50K by the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah, like in kind of like February and April and stuff, I was like, I might be able to hit 50K this year, maybe, and smash that. So
And then life said, nah, hold this. Let me show you what you're about to do.
shout out Rustage, who was the one when I was like at the beginning of the year, like, I don't know, maybe I'll hit 50K this year, maybe. And he was like, nah, 100K. I was like, shut up. He was like, end of the year. I was like, shut the fuck up. And then look at us now, almost there. So
that shut up. That tweet didn't age well. Rustage looking a little more correct.
Yeah, shout out to Rustage, man, aka Nerdcore Jesus, as Game Boy Jones likes to call him.
I mean, with his power creep bars, I don't know if that nickname works anymore.
True.
Yeah, man.
He did seem to have some beef on the album with Jesus for some reason.
With Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was.
Look, there was no beef. He's just saying, "Fuck Jesus, I'm built different." Okay, that's all it is.
Which is a carpenter
different
bar.
than Jesus.
Which is it's a carpentry bar.
You're right.
Jesus was a carpenter. But no, seriously, huge congratulations to you on your many accolades this past year. The 80K subs, the Among Us song, Imposter hitting over 4, almost 5 million views. Your crewmate song at 5 now.
Crazy.
Your crewmate song, the last time I checked, was in the 900,000s.
That's almost 1 million. It's
almost that. Like, seriously, you've had a rock star year.
Mm-hmm. It's been kind of crazy. In fact, I was looking just this morning. I was talking to my parents, and my mom made the joke of, "Oh yeah, 5 million of those views, they're actually me. I've just had the song playing on autoplay on my computer this entire time." And it got me thinking. I was like, "How long would you actually have to have the video autoplaying to rack up 5 million views?" And I did the maths, whipped out the little calculator, and it's 28 and a half years.
Wow.
So there you go. I have 28 and a half years worth of views on one video.
That's
just a crazy way to put it.
Yeah. 5 million is a big number.
Because you look at songs, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of collective time. The Nerdcore fam is just extremely supportive. You love to see it.
We do.
Or it's 28 people having it on loop for 1 year.
True.
It's 28 members.
Like, if I get 2 people to watch it and they get 2 people to watch it.
Snowballs, man. Millions around the clock.
All right. So we had some questions for you, man.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I think one thing I want to know. So I know that you taught English in Korea, but I wanted to know more about just the background of you knowing the language and everything about that.
So I used to work at a pub was kind of my day job for about a year and a half, and I fucking hated it. Can I swear?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go for
yeah,
it.
you're good.
I fucking
Explicit
hated it.
podcast.
Okay, good.
We have the explicit tag. We're good.
Yeah.
I just like asking that whenever I'm on a podcast. I'm like, can I swear? I despised it anyway, right? I was just like depressed as you are when you're doing something you hate for a long time. And I was like, couldn't get music to work fully, couldn't get design and graphic design and stuff, which was what my degree was in, to work. Couldn't really find any path in what I was doing to, be more fulfilled. I was like, what do I do? And I remembered back in university, a lecturer of mine was talking about there's a company that will pay for you to fly out to Korea or China or Vietnam, the kind of like Asian, Southeast Asian countries, and like get you hooked up with a place that will let you teach English, that kind of thing. I was like, fuck it, I'll look into it. And then like a month later, I had my visa and I was flying.
Oh
It was like that
wow.
Wow.
fast. I was just like, let's go, 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 go. And then I was in Korea. And when I actually got there for the first time, I knew almost nothing about the culture or the language. Because I'm a weeb, but I don't know much about Asia,
Mhm.
Yeah.
in general, anything around that area besides Japan. So it's kind of like alien world to me. And I like just jumped in at the deep end and started learning like the language and stuff like that. So I had no prior knowledge. So everything I know about Korean and its language comes from just living there.
Best way to learn.
Wow.
Yeah, immersive.
Crazy. It's a real deep dive
So
into
to be honest, I'm not that good at
things.
Korean. I just know like the stuff that I needed to know, which is how to shout at a child that was misbehaving, how to
Right.
order in a
No.
restaurant, how to greet people on the streets, and that kind of thing. So it's like conversational, non-existent, but like the useful bits that I needed is cool.
Were you able to learn to read and write? Because I know in Japan they have like you have the hiragana, katakana, and then you have kanji. For
Mhm.
Korean, is it just one stock phonetic alphabet? Do they have a simple
Korean is a
alphabet?
beautiful, right? Korean, let me tell you about the Korean language real quick. The written language was designed entirely from scratch 300 years ago. It's like one of the newest written
Wow.
languages in the
Oh
world,
wow.
right? So
That's
it's like
crazy.
super logical. Everything just makes sense. It's like you see one letter, it has like one sound. There are rules and they actually work, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy. So yeah, I learned the writing kind of in the month leading up to going over there. I was learning the letters and stuff, and by the time I got there, I was looking at signs and I was like, oh, I can just read this,
Oh
which is
wow.
different to like I went to Japan and I've been learning Japanese for kind of like 3 or 4 years on and off casually. Went to Japan and I was like, oh, I can't read anything. I might as well have not studied it at
At
all
all.
because
It
it's
is.
just like, wow. But yeah.
Yeah, I could completely relate. When I lived in Japan and studied Japanese, I was like, "That's that kanji." They're like, "Nope, we discussed this 20 minutes ago. That's this kanji," and I'm like, "So
They
that's
look the
not
same, bro.
tree."
It's just
I'm like,
lines.
that's not forest." They're like, "No, that means bank." I'm like,
Oh man. Well, yeah,
"No,
it's
but
hard
it's
to
stuff."
tell that's how you learn because you kind of bring it effortlessly into some of those tracks, like the God of High School track. Sounds
Mm.
really good
I
there.
think that's a lot of like K-pop influence and stuff
Mhm.
because like if you heard me like conversationally, like if I was just speaking Korean, you'd be like, "Oh, this dude doesn't know the language." You know what I mean? But it's like when I put it into a song, I can take what I've heard on different like K-pop and K-rap tracks and use that kind of thing. So it's more like copying what I've heard and using my
Okay.
own words than anything else,
That's
which is
fair.
why it sounds more natural.
So we've briefly had a conversation in the past about like writing lyrics in different languages and how like in certain languages like Spanish, it's a little bit easier to have continuous rhymes because all of the nouns or verbs end in e or o.
Mhm.
For Korean, would you say you have a like in terms of just how the language is set up? Is it easy to write in a pop or rap sense, or is it more difficult compared to Spanish or compared to English, as it were?
I'd say it's easier. There's a lot
Okay.
more things you can rhyme in Korean than like in English. Not quite on the same level as Spanish though. But yeah, it's probably a little easier than English just to write things that sound nice when you like string
Yeah,
them together because they rhyme and stuff. Definitely.
no, that's fair. And that's why I will not write in Japanese yet, because rhyming in Japanese is hell.
Mm. I mean, I'm always a big fan of like mixed line. So not even like doing a line in Korean that rhymes with Korean, then doing a line in English that rhymes with English, but rhyming a Korean word with an English word. I like that kind of mix, which is really difficult because there's a lot of sounds in Korean that don't exist in English and vice versa. So
No, that's fair. It's like I have to create a new English pronunciation of a word to fit this rhyme.
either I have to butcher the pronunciation or put on a weird accent or something. Yeah.
Got to make it performative. You're on your way to being a VA. You got to diversify.
You're right.
Yeah, speaking of, how did you get into VA work, or how did you start being interested in it?
I just always like doing little voices. And I was like, what if I could do this but like for a character, for a game, for animation? That would be cool. And it turns out there's just like a bunch of places online where you can just audition for random roles and stuff. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'll do it. And I've probably like auditioned for like, like 300 voice acting roles and got like 5. But but it's just fun to do. It's just one of those things where what I like about like my music becoming my full-time occupation is it's no longer like I have a job and that's my hobby. But now I'm like, what do I do as a hobby? So voice acting stuff kind of fills in that void. Now that music has gone from my hobby to my occupation, I'm like, I have VA to fill in the gap of what I do as a hobby. I just like doing stuff with my voice. You know what I mean?
It is an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5 for 300 sounds pretty good though. I mean, for any sort of job, like it's tough out here. 5 for 300 is.
I really don't know what that.
It's pretty good.
Like a good rate is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been involved in like I'd say 5 big projects where it's like, oh, this is going to be some sort of published thing that people will be able to buy or people will be able to see, and you know what I mean? And like 4 of those have been just cancelled or indefinitely postponed. I'm just like, okay,
that is
which sucks. Yeah, like a big animated project, 2 indie games, and a visual novel. I'm just like, I just have the worst luck. I got paid for them though, so you know what I mean. I've done my work. I got paid for them. I got the bag. It's just I can't now share what I did with people and be like, hey, check it out, because
it's
it's
like
still
you got
not
the bag,
published.
but the sharing, the and the notoriety and the clout, so have you, is what's what's not available. And shouts out to Divide Music for rating with 22 people.
Let's go.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Also, I just peeped over to the chat real quick. Gray Fox says that's kind of the stock standard in the VA world of just like hundreds of auditions with very few comeback, and then the possibility of being canceled, and that's what led to his kind of burnout in that community. So, thank you for that little nugget of knowledge,
that tidbit.
Gray Fox.
Appreciate it. So we have a question in the Discord from Weed, which is just my favorite guy in the Discord to read his name. His name is just Weed.
Okay.
He just wanted to know what got you into music to begin with.
Like specifically like making music and stuff.
How about both? How about listening
All
and
of it.
making?
The whole track.
What got me into listening to me? I really didn't like listening to music a lot as a kid, because it was like, early 2000s pop music, or my mom and my auntie were really into kind of 70s pop, and I was just like, this shit all sounds the same. I don't like listening to this. Now that I'm older, I do kind of like that music, but like as a kid, I can't stand this. And what got me into music was when I was in school, I fell in with this group of friends who what we call moshers in the UK. I'm not sure if that term pervades anywhere else, but like emos and scene kids and that kind of group.
Yeah.
So they would listen to heavy metal and punk rock and new metal and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, whoa, there's music that isn't pop music. Let's go. So I got really into like Slipknot, Avenged Sevenfold, and even like less heavy stuff like Blink-182 and Green Day.
Shouts out 87X, by the way. Just shouts out to Benson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what like got me into music. And it was like a weird transition from that to folk, acoustic, bluegrass, and country. I don't know when that happened,
Huh.
but it just a slow transformation into just like less and less heavy music. And it was when I was listening to like Johnny Cash, I was like, I could probably play some of this. I could probably learn to play some of this because when you're listening to Avenged Sevenfold, Muse, like rock bands like that, you're like, there's lots to it. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel very simplistic. It doesn't feel like you could
Mhm.
do that unless you have the prior knowledge. With country music, it's just a dude and a guitar. It's like, what the? I think I could do that. Hold on. So I got a second-hand guitar because my brother, who is younger than me, I got his hand-me-down guitar because he was doing guitar lessons at school and he was like, I'm sick of this. And I just learned 3 chords online and started playing Johnny Cash songs. And that's kind of how I got into playing music and enjoying music more and more. And then at some point I decided to rap. And that one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you any more details on that.
You just decided.
It just happened. You know what? I'm gonna say Dembo. I'm gonna say Dembo.
Denbo? Okay. Shout out to Denbo.
Dembo,
then.
okay.
Because that was like I wasn't that into rap music previous, except for like a couple of songs, and then I heard Nerdcore, Damble, IBDL. Shout out IBDL. Not a lot of people
Shout
know
out
him
IBDL.
except for on a couple of Rustage ciphers, but he was like a fandom musician back in the day that I was like, I really enjoyed his, and he was one of the few voices online that like would notice my really terrible attempts at rap back in 2011 and would be like, hey, yeah, man, keep going, do another one. So shout out to Lols. But yeah, Nerdcore got me into rap, and then I got into actual rap, and then came back to Nerdcore better informed.
All right.
Let's go.
Sounds good. I think
So
we do
honestly,
need
just
you
thinking-
to go ahead, Kuro.
No. Wherever you're going, I want to go with
Oh, okay.
you.
For sure. I was gonna say that we need you to go back and we need the Shwabadi like grunge track. Like I need to hear what that sounds like. I need like you, Gray Fox, and Divide on some sort of
that would be crazy.
hard.
I've never done that kind of thing.
That.
I always wanted to be in a band.
That'd
I always
be
wanted to be in a band
terrifying.
and do some like garage rock kind of stuff. I actually have 2 full albums of like folk, acoustic, and like British country, which is I'm sure available online. If you search for Mark Nichols, which is my real name, that was the alias I released that. In fact, yeah, search Mark Nichols alias, and that's a 20 track album on Bandcamp of
Ooh.
acoustic pop folk kind of stuff. It's terrible, but it's out there. Yeah. But no, I never done the rockier stuff, the more hardcore stuff.
So now that I know that you're a Johnny Cash fan, will that ever creep into like future songs? Because I know like you this year you've kind of been more jack of all trades in your musical approach, trying different beats, sound styles, soundscapes, performance styles, but like a Johnny Cash hurt Jiraiya track, you know, I'm just saying, I want to hear it.
Well, I'm definitely going to be less jack of all trades for at least the next year.
For
I'm
2021?
kind of trying to do one thing very well for a while rather than try every little fucking thing that comes up, and just see if I can find a pocket and really perfect it. So
In this
I'm
past
not
year-
going to say no. I'm never going to say never to a Jiraiya Johnny Cash song, but
He's like, I'm not saying no, but for right now, it's a no.
I'm not saying no, but absolutely not. No.
So off of that, would you say in this past year that you started to see what your pocket might? You don't have to like directly explain what that pocket is, but would you say that you felt that you've neared what that pocket would be in this past year?
Yes. Because really what I was doing is just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. And now that I've done this for the last year, and there's still, don't get me wrong, there's still a couple of tracks through December which are a bit off the wall and new for me. I've kind of found out the things that people respond to the most, as well as what I enjoy making and listening to the most. Because there's a bunch of my songs that I've made, and I'm like, oh, that was fun. I liked that. That was cool. I will never listen to that song again. And I don't want to make that kind of music anymore. I want to make the music that I'm like, I actively want to listen to myself. And there is a couple of those that I've made this year, which I'm really proud of. So more of that will be happening.
You love to hear it. You
Yeah.
love to hear it.
Your music definitely high on the replay value for me amongst you know, a lot of nerdcore music that is kind of I guess here today, gone tomorrow. Maybe just like, you know,
Yeah.
one-time
Yeah.
character and you just want to hear it for the anime or hear it for the novelty, but I think your music definitely has
Yeah,
some
that's
staying
one thing
power.
that kind of made me want to switch things up is like, how do I get rid of that element of disposability to the
Mhm.
Yeah.
music? How do I make it last longer for people? So we'll see if that works. But
And one of the things you brought up in that regard was trying to skew away from specifically rapping about the character to more so just
mm,
rapping inspired by the character. Insert your Rengoku track, which
yeah, I just feel like
there
it's
was
more accessible that way,
yeah.
applicable to people. Like, there's so many songs where I do it myself a lot of the time. If I'm looking at a song that's just came out, and it's like whatever the new None Like Joshua song, and it's about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm like, I haven't seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so I don't want to watch the song.
Mhm.
Whereas if it was a song by Divide and it's about,
JoJo's
I'm
Bizarre
trying to think of
Adventure.
a show that, yeah, we'll just stick to JoJo's. A Divide song about JoJo's,
Continuity.
a Divide song about JoJo's, I'm more likely to think I probably will enjoy this just because their style in terms of how they tackle the subject is different. Not like Joshua takes a property and raps from its kind of perspective and places you in that role and talks about the things in the show and from the characters, which is like cool if you're a fan of the show. But if you're not, then it's like, this does nothing for me a lot of the time. And I want to avoid that. But I don't know. That's more a thing of personal preference.
Of course.
Mhm.
There's a balance somewhere.
That is true. So we have a stock roulette of questions that we gotta ask all of the interviewees.
Okay.
What is a song that you were surprised at the success that it garnered? What is a song that you were extremely proud of / excited to release and that did not perform well? And this is your chance to kind of breathe some life back into it, remind people like, yo, this is a banger. Yeah, y'all slept on it. Go back, do your homework.
I mean, the song that I didn't expect to do that well and took off, can you guess?
Does it have to do with a certain indie video game?
It might. It might have something to do with Among Us, and it might be
It
called
might have to
Imposter,
do
and it
with
might have 5
5
million
million.
views. Yeah, I was expecting that one to flop. I was expecting that one to do so badly that I released 2 songs that weekend.
The Light
Um,
Yagami.
I released my Light Yagami track at the same, like, 2 days after that because I was like, "This is a song about a video game? It's gonna do terribly on my channel." And it is, by the power of, like, to like the power of 10, I think it is the
Oh
best
my
performing
lord.
song I've ever released. Like nothing else even comes close. So that was crazy. And I guess a song that I released that didn't do that well that I wish did was the Rengoku track that you mentioned. Actually,
Really?
didn't it's done all right, but there's like so many other releases that came out around the same time or before it that like way outperformed it.
Mm.
And I was upset because I love that song. It's so goofy. It's so silly. It's so
Do
fun.
you think do you think that part of that had to do with the fact that I know you released it on the weekend of the movie release. Do you think that might have hindered it since only a specific population was able to access the film in that moment? So people were kind of just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I can't watch this yet."
Yeah. Because I didn't realize that the movie was coming out only in Japan when I dropped the song,
Mhm.
and I thought it was just a worldwide release, and it was, like, on Crunchyroll or some shit. So I was like, "Oh, perfect, we'll drop it this weekend." But instead, what that happened was everyone saw it and went, "Oh, I haven't seen the movie yet. It just came out. I won't watch that. So I feel like a lot of people passed it up because they thought it was one thing when it wasn't. But yeah.
Who knows? Fingers crossed. Maybe when the movie drops, the algorithm resurrects.
Maybe it'll take off again. Yeah.
Ren Goku shit.
Beef with me, then you gotta burn, bro. Mia, shout Mia Blackwell.
Shout out Mia Blackwell. Shout out DPS.
Shout out DPS. That was the first time DPS was on my channel, actually, which was exciting. It was like such a goofy track to get him on for the first time.
That is. Oh yeah, because you were on his channel for the Madra. You were both in on ciphers together, but he hadn't. Oh wow, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where it's like I'll want to work with someone for like a super long time, but not have a specific project in mind or something. And for DPS, it was just like what I was waiting for some reason was, the big storytelling, character focused, emotional track, kind of what my Endeavor and All Might track was that I finally got him on. But before, for some reason, I was just like, nah, I have this goofy as fuck Rengoku song that has nothing to do with the character.
I have the antithesis to my original idea. Go for it.
He obliterated it, to be fair. He absolutely smashed it out the park. Yeah. The intro, I remember saying to Mia and DPS, I was just like, there's just like going to be the silence here. There's no hook. So just do some ad-lib stuff, do whatever you want. And Mia did like the goofiest fucking thing of all time. Which was great. And then I sent that. How did Jessica Alba sunbathing in a supernova? Shout out Shwabadi. And then I sent that over to DPS. Like I was on a call with DPS at the time, and I was like nearly crying, laughing so hard when he sent me it back, and it was just the same thing that Mia had said. I was like, "There's no way." Wait, the movie came out today. How are we supposed to know what we're talking about? Wikipedia. That just destroyed me. That destroyed me.
That was perfect. Those interludes were perfect. Oh man.
So our chat and the streets have been clamoring. They want the full Bearbadi lore. They want to know everything about him. Can you give it? Just give us a little something.
What's the lore?
Okay, the lore. Do you want to know the backstory of Bearbadi? Here's what happened. Okay. Picture this: a young man trying to break into the music scene. He's a big fan of video games and music, and he's trying to make it work in a nerdcore style, but he can't seem to get an audience. He doesn't know what he's doing. Then one night, in a pit of despair, he's visited by this ghostly apparition, and he signs a contract in blood that will allow him to become a better rapper. Okay, as long as he lets this ghostly essence kind of take over his body, his Shwabadi, if you will. And before you know it, it's two beasts in one body. You know what I mean? So the lore is basically, I'm the producer, I do the music. Bearbadi is the rapper. Okay, but what's happened now is I've spent a year in this situation, this deal with the devil, and I'm sick of it. I'm like, this isn't me that's rapping. This doesn't represent what I want to do. This isn't me. I'm gonna exercise it. Okay. So 2021 is the separation of the two entities. He's being torn away from my soul as I start to make music kind of as myself, as Shwabadi, instead of what I'm trying to say is I'm no longer doing the fake American accent.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, so Bearbadi's American, and you're going back
to Bearbadi's American.
Okay.
He's American.
Honestly,
yeah.
That is probably the greatest lore I've ever heard. Honestly, I need to publish that in like a picture book for children.
Yeah.
So there's in kind of accordance with that, the Life and Death of album art features Bearbadi. It's kind of his first contact. And then my next album called Werebear, which is a reference to me switching into the bear. The album art features my dead body with the ghost of Bearbadi rising out of it. So
Werebear.
There you go.
Do we have a date on that album?
February, maybe. March. Maybe March. It depends. I need to get some things finished.
Hashtag March for Mark.
Mark your calendars.
Okay. speaking of albums, recently you dropped a little album/EP, depending on what you want to call it, depending on how you feel about the skits.
It's an album.
It's an
There's 9
album.
songs.
Okay.
3 skits.
9 songs.
We got a filler
Okay.
arc in a project. We have a filler arc in the project.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, looks like you collaborated with Connor Quest on it. Took a listen. I love it. The skits are hilarious. Yeah. What was the process of making that like?
It's actually funny. I think I tweeted it at some point. The first contact I had with Connor about the album. It's a screenshot from January this year where I say to him, "Oh, hey, dude, I know we haven't really spoken much or worked together, but would you like to make a full-length album?" That was the start, and then we became best friends and made an album together. It was just I really wanted to do like a, because at the time when I asked him about it, I was already working on the Life and Death of, but that's not really like a nerdcore album. It's just
It's an album.
rap album. Yeah, it's an album about me. So I said to him, I was like, I really want to make a project that, where I can talk about nerdy stuff and make jokes and be crass and just do whatever. And he was like, fuck yeah. So we ended up spending like days and days where like every night we would be on call to each other in a Google Doc, just typing up ideas for songs and lines that we could say. And like half of it was scrapped. And most of the songs that made it into the final album were either last minute things we thought of and just like wrote something goofy for, like PogChamp, or like things that Connor had come up with, because my idea iteration was awful. I think the only song that I came up with that made it to the album was Super Team. All the rest was
Really?
Connor basically. Yeah.
That is a fun one. That one I will go back to when I need a good laugh, because just Priest at the end, like it was a dog level threat.
Dog level threat. Okay, I want to explain real quick. Super Team is one of my favorites on the album because the way we wrote that was, that song is all about the writing process. It lives for the writing process. I wrote the first verse, then sent it to Cam. Cam wrote the second verse, then sent that to Connor. He wrote the third verse, and it like went around a few times. We'd never discussed the story, the plot, the character, whatever. We never discussed the idea at all. We just said, you are superheroes fighting a bad guy. Things go wrong. That was the only plot we had. And then we just filled it in line by line. So you never knew what you were going to get from the next person. And then I was like,
a rap telephone.
Yeah, and then we finished it all, and I was like, we need one last verse on it to tie it all up. 12 bars, Freest, go. And he really brought it home in a really funny way. So it's just good fun. I love that track so much.
That's such a funny track.
I never would have guessed that. It sounded so purposeful. I never would have guessed the writing process.
The way that people play off elements of like what we're saying to each other is so funny, because like there are times where, because you've only got like 8 bars each time to work with, and you could tell when Connor would throw something in where he's like, oh, Mark's next, try this. You know what I mean? Like when Connor sent me one of the verses, and he was like, okay, this one ends with an explosion sound. I was like, what do you mean?
What?
And then I'd go in and just start trying to figure out how to piece it together and stuff like that. But it was super fun.
I can just picture your sheer confusion. Like, so my last word is an explosion noise. Wait, I'm sorry. How did you do this?
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. It was fun though.
That is honest to God impressive. That is honest to God impressive. So you said that you sent the message to Connor in January.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you haven't really spoke or worked a lot together. So how long have you actually known Connor Quest?
Since January. I've known of him for about 2 years. I've seen his work and stuff like that. And actually, we worked a little bit. I got him on a rap battle that I did last year. It was Duck Hunt Duo versus Banjo and Kazooie when those guys were in Smash. And I got him on that, and he got me on something as well. but we didn't really communicate. That was just one of those things where it was like, "Hey, hello, my name is Shwabadi. Would you like to be on a song? Here is the beat." We didn't talk. We didn't know each
Yeah,
other.
it was like
And it
send
wasn't
the beat,
until we
send the
started.
vocal.
Yeah. And it wasn't until we started working on this project where it was like we were talking and we got to know each other and we hit it off and he proposed.
Yeah, hence the necklace.
Yeah. And he introduced me to his parents.
Aw.
Genuinely Conquest
Wow.
parents are so nice. His mom's a big Shwabados fan. Let's go.
Ooh, shout out
Let's
Mama Quest.
go.
That's
That's
dope.
how you know the love is real. When
Yes.
Mama Dukes is a supporter of your channel.
Mm-hmm.
But so we already remarked on just how hilarious the skits were. I mean,
Yeah.
they made the album. I mean, literally, they extended the number of songs on the EP to make the album.
Yes, they
But
made it into an album.
They made it into an album.
It's an album. But it's brought up that you produced the album,
Most of it, yeah. Except for PogChamp.
except for PogChamp. So my question is, how long have you been in music production? Because we got in your story of playing the guitar, folk music, but when did the physical transpire into the now digital?
It was actually just that was because of necessity. Because
Hmm.
when I went to Korea, I couldn't bring any of my instruments. So it was literally just, oh, how do I do music now? I'll learn FL Studio, I guess. So it was literally 2 years ago, I guess, I started learning it. And it was basically the only hobby I had when I was in Korea, unless I went to one of the PC rooms and started playing PUBG and Overwatch with random Korean guys. But except for that, it was music production. So I just, yeah, like everything I did when I was over there was just head first into the deep end and figure it out as we go along. But
Dive
yeah,
in,
it was
go for it.
it was super awesome. I mean, I've had a lot of people helping me. Rustage has been a massive help. Learning FL Studio. And recently with music production stuff, I feel like my production has got so much better over the last 3 or so months because of people like Daddy Fat Snaps. It's people in this community are so fucking nice. Like a lot of people go out of their way to just help you. If they fuck with your vibe or like the stuff that you're making, they'll just be like, yeah, let me do something for you real quick. And it's awesome. So yeah, about 2 years I've been making music.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Shout out to
shouts
Grey Fox. Griff, I've been using FL Studio, like I said, for 2 years, and I thought I was pretty good at it. I watched like 2 Grey Fox streams, and I was like, whoa, there's so many things I didn't know.
That man nasty. That man will literally say, "Cool, 3 hits on the keyboard, whole song just done, mixed." He's like, I'm like, what did you do? He's like, oh, I copy and pasted and changed the automation using this hotkey and then this cold key, made the hotkey a
Not
swift
the
key.
cold key.
And I'm like, that's crazy talk.
They don't know about the cold keys,
They
bro.
don't know about that. That's a Grey Fox
How?
specialty.
That's the Grey Fox specialty. He brings up the hot and the cold key.
He's crazy, that, yeah.
So I have a personal question.
Okay.
I'm stepping out of Kuro the reactor, Kuro the interview. Okay, as a fan. Okay, listen to your music for a decent amount of time. I've done some backlogging. Right, where did Grata come from? Because you was on like American accent, UK flow, and then out of nowhere you just like Grata. I said, "Hold gunshot! What happened?"
Well, I really sucked at ad libs for a long time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Most of my ad libs are trash. It's just me going, yeah, okay,
All right.
all right.
Why do you
that's my ad
sound?
libs,
You're
right?
unmixed and you sound just as good as your recording.
It's the voice acting.
It's the training. And I was like, how do I spice this up? And genuinely, I was listening to Game Boy Jones, and I was like, I can't do those. I was listening to a bunch of just like a bunch of more mainstream stuff and release stuff, and like, what do these guys do? And And a lot of the time I was just like, I don't think I can do that. What? I can't do any of this stuff. Why does it sound so good when they do it, but awful when I do it? And I think it was I was listening to Tokame
Okay.
on my first album, The Life and Death of, on the song called Intrusive Thoughts. There's just this bit that I've always been obsessed with. I love it, where like the beat cuts out and he goes, "Brrr," and I was
Oh,
like,
I
why the
love
fuck
Good.
does
that
that
ad
sound
lib.
so good?
I love that ad lib.
And
a
then I
good
was like,
one.
and that kind of like, it was that realization where I was like, wait a minute, I don't need to shout noises to do ad libs. I can like do weird little mouth sounds, like brrr, krra, ka, ka, ka.
Yeah.
And it just unlocked a whole world of potential. So I just started doing it one day because like it's like in My Hero when Deku realized he had legs. That was me realizing I was like, wait a minute, ad libs don't need to be.
Onomatopoeia.
They don't need to be words. This is huge. Yeah.
Then you have the shoot style. Pow!
Yeah.
He said, wait,
And I hit him
I
with a
can
shoot
make
style.
sound.
Oh, dead.
I'm forever calling your ad lib shoot style. If
That's
I comment
crazy.
on them in a reaction, I'll say, yo, Shwabadi
Them
with the
shoot
shoot
style ad
style.
There he is.
Uh-huh.
With the shoot style.
That is absolutely
Oh,
that
no.
is gorgeous.
That's amazing.
And now I love doing ad libs. I used to hate it, but now I actually love it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That is something that I am not excited to have to figure out. But, nope.
You'll find your own shoot
Oh.
style, man.
Eventually, I'll find out about my legs. Eventually, I'll find out about my legs. Tenya Ida going cowabunga. That's what my legs going to do. So I just wanted to bring up just a couple of. I have a little note thing of just like of high points from your album that I just want to shout out. One, Power Creep, the back and forth section. As an old school hip hop head, loved it. The you and Connor exchanging lines, just absolutely loved it. I don't even know if a lot of people would catch this, but your multi-flip on the word Austin.
Yeah. So there's 4 in there. And
Yeah.
I assume that most people are going to get 2 of them, but
Yeah.
the other 2 are kind of
Obscure.
difficult to get. I'm wondering if you catch them, the ultimate bar catcher, Professor Kuro.
Off the top of my head right now, I'm not going to say that I remember them, but I did react when I was listening to them. I did catch all 4, and then I was especially surprised at the 4th one. I was like, I'm glad I know this one. But
so it's no cap, no Austin, which is no cap because Austin is the state capital of Texas, so it's no cap, no Austin. So Stone Cold on a track like Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Got Mojo on tap. That's Austin. Austin Powers. And consoles old that I stack. So Austin. Preceded by Game Boy's on. Because Game Boy Jones is also known by his human name of Austin.
his mortal being
his
has
mortal name. Yeah. And that's just a fact. I do stack old consoles. I cannot turn my camera on and show you guys, but over there's a collection of retro consoles.
Yes, I've been on a couple of the room tours and stream, and I always am just like, yes.
Yeah.
And then, so there's just one song that we need to talk about. We have to talk about it. The elephant in the room.
Let's talk about it.
Gem Collection.
Okay.
Boy, who allowed you to rap like this?
You got a little bit spicy on that one.
That was the song where in the Google Drive, we put that skit in there because I was like, we need to transition this like in a way that makes sense. We need to explain this because in the Google Drive it just said like the first note, because this started out as like a bunch of song titles with little notes under them about what we thought they should be. And it said like Gem Collection, 2 Chainz featuring Game Boy Jones, I think is what it said. Suchi. Yeah.
Oh,
no. We just wanted to be silly and talk about
whatever the fuck you wanted.
Drugs and vagina.
Drugs and vagina. Shout out.
Let's go.
Honestly, you know what?
Yeah.
It is one of my favorites off the album. I can't even lie.
It's a banger.
It is a hell of a banger. And
quite
honestly,
Game Boy
distinct.
Jones is a perfect fit for that one. I
That
love
that
it.
was the right feature.
chef
Mhm,
kiss.
mhm.
I think the only other song on the album that I enjoyed more than Gem Collection is Clash of Titans. You Yamcha looking ass. Shut up, you
What?
Caillou looking ass.
That
You
was
called him
that
the
was
guy from
literally.
Maze Runner. That's literally
I said,
him.
you know the guy
Weird
from Maze
That's
Runner
what we talked
with the
about.
weird
Yeah.
eyebrows?
I
That
can't believe
had
you said that,
me.
but it was
I
necessary.
lost a lung. I laughed so hard I lost
That
a
was
lung.
all off the top. We were in a Discord call together and we like did like the conversational bit of it, and then we're like, right, so now we're just gonna insult each other and shout a lot. And I was like, okay, Connor, you do yours first, just like riff a bunch of shouting and stuff. And he came out with all these insults. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. Sakura of the UK, what? Sakura of the UK trio? I was like, all right, let me get
Crazy.
personal real quick.
I was like, I loved it.
Yeah, I was like, how
And
many
it
ball
speaks
characters
to
can
your
I name?
right, and it speaks to your friendship too, to be able to just like rib and riff off of each other like that.
Oh my god.
It was really good.
So what was your
Sorry.
so what was your like favorite point in the album?
My favorite's actually Raygun.
Reagan?
Yeah, because we wanted like one song on there where it was like real, whereas like there's no like tongue-in-cheek joke about it.
Mhm.
It's just a real song about is like telling how we feel.
Yeah,
So Power Creep was like ramped up to a point where it was kind of silly. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Mhm.
It was like overly serious and like my life depends on this music. I'm the
yeah.
greatest rapper alive. It was like supposed to be a little bit over the top,
Right.
but Raygun we toned it back a bit, and Connor came through with this fucking beautiful hook. He absolutely destroyed that. It's so good. And we just got to just talking about where we came from, where we think we're going, and how we feel, which was nice.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And
Love
it
the
is a
perspective.
standout track on that album. It is a standout track.
Perfect one to come right before Gem Collection.
100%.
What a transition.
Yeah.
It's funny to think that on the same album, okay? Get this, okay? Same people. Gem Collection, Wish You Were My Waifu. Same people.
It was like
Super
we have 6
degenerate.
tracks. We have 6 tracks to work with. What can we do here? And it was just like
Everything.
because the reason there's not that many tracks is like I said, we brainstormed a bunch of them, but what we basically said is these 2 tracks are similar. Just do one. These 2 tracks are similar. Just do one.
There.
So like we had like 2 serious songs. Just cut one of them out. We had 2 songs that were over the top, kind of silly, nerdy references to talk about how powerful you're becoming because of your music. I was like, we can just do one of them instead. So it's a very compact project just because we were like, we don't want to repeat ourselves more than anything.
Yeah.
We covered as
Sure.
much kind of different styles and topics as we could without repetition.
That's honestly fair. And that's probably made it a stronger album because now you're just like, okay, now whatever energy would be expended on multiple iterations of the same idea, just compact.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm a
I think it's better for it.
big fan of the compact albums. Anything in that like 20 to 30, 35 minutes range is my cup of tea. When you get to like 50 minutes and over, I'm like, there tends to be a lot of filler.
Meek Mill's
I
Championship.
start sleeping.
I get that. I get that. There is like a big focus on singles right now, and like longer projects kind of being limited at kind of the 20-minute mark. Just because the way people enjoy music now is a little bit different, which is like totally fair. And I'm
Mhm.
very similar. I am a fan of like listening to full albums, but at the same time, I'll only do that once a month. You know what I mean? So
With a shorter
yeah,
project, you have more front to back playback possibility
absolutely.
compared to 12 song to 15 to 20 song album. You're like, am I gonna listen through all of it or am I gonna cherry pick more likely than not?
Hmm.
Yeah, because I like listening to full albums, but I guess like in the mainstream music scene, what it seems like a lot of people are doing when they do release those like really long albums is that they're just trying to hit as many different people that will potentially like a song. So they got like 25 songs. Like, oh, you'll like everyone's gonna like at least 4 of them that they're gonna put in their playlist and listen to forever.
Yeah.
I would say the last, and I'm talking more so mainstream. I think the last full length album that I played front to back and once might have been Revenge of the Dreamer 3, the Dreamville collaboration album. I think that and Denzel Curry's Taboo were the last 2 albums that I front to back multiple times.
There was Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats. What's that one called?
Unlocked? Yeah.
Unlocked. There we go.
Unlocked. That one wasn't actually that long either. That was like 8 tracks. So that was a short one. But yeah, Taboo I listened to front to back a few times. Most of the ones that I listen to all the way through multiple times tend to be not hip hop albums. They'll be like Fleet Foxes, Mumford and Sons, Hosier, like these more folky acoustic pop kind of things. Radiohead, actually.
Radiohead.
Their albums
Goated.
Last thing on the album I wanted to ask about Wish You Were My Waifu and the music video, because the music video was a very, very fun watch. Did the idea for that
was fun to make.
Was it concurrent with creating the song, or did you figure it out after the fact?
We were writing the song. What's interesting about Wish You Were My Wife, I said I produced all the tracks, but the piano and bass line in Wish You Were My Wife, it was actually composed by Connor beforehand, because we had this idea for a love ballad kind of nerdy thing, and he wrote the piano and wrote the stuff and sent it over to me as MIDI to properly put together. And when it was first in its idea phase, it was just this piano loop, and we were like, should we sing over it? Do we rap over it? Is it supposed to be a parody? Is it supposed to be serious? And like as we kept adding these ideas to it and like the beat started to form, we were like, what if it starts off sounding like this really sweet, genuine, nerdy kind of ballad about confessing your feelings to someone and, you know, making all these comparisons, and then it just devolves into degeneracy where I'm like, you like Nendoroids? Yeah, I like sex toys. And it's like, oh man.
You haven't followed me on Twitter yet? Not like I'm paying
I get it. You haven't followed me yet? Yeah, because the kind of the concept was Connor's verse was more about he's in love with a girl and confessing, but as the verse goes on, it kind of you realize that he's kind of a creep.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Whereas my verse starts straight up just like, hey, yeah, we should fuck.
Sup?
So mine just goes straight into it. Like,
yeah. What are you doing?
So when it came to the music video, we knew we wanted a music video from the album, and we ended up with like 2 kind of. We had like a lyric video that Grey Fox made for Connor Quest channel on the Power Creep song, which is like so cool. But for the music video for Wish You Were My Waifu, I'm not sure who came up with the idea first, but there was basically a lot of people I could credit with the idea of this like this duo of stalkers chasing this e-girl. Annabelle, who you see in the video, Quiet Effects, was heavily involved in the kind of ideation phase, and she actually did the initial storyboards as well. I want to say Irene Stargirl, she was definitely involved in somewhere, but this was like all this was like the concepts were all made kind of months and months ago, back in kind of April. So it's hard to remember who I can credit with what, because there was just a bunch of people we talked about. So yeah, it was just a lot of people shooting a lot of ideas, and then eventually ended up going, fuck it, let's just go balls to the wall, kidnap a girl on camera, and call it a music video.
Okay.
And it was Annabelle who did the video edit, right?
She edited it, yes. I told her not to, but I was supposed to edit the video, and I put together a rough cut and sent it to her. And then, like a few days later, she sent me back a finished video, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And And then we spent like the next few weeks, like we'd go in a call and color correct and change things and stuff. But yeah, she basically did the full video edit without my permission.
She said, I don't need your permission.
So much work. She had done so much work on that project already. She scouted the locations. She found our cameraman. She like scouted our Airbnb that we stayed at. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Besides actually writing and recording the song, me and Connor did so little work on that project.
She's like, y'all got the sound. Cool. I got all the visuals. I got all the visuals.
Yeah.
But shouts out to Annabelle, aka Quiet SFX, for that. Shouts out Gray Fox for the lyric video for Power Creep. That shit was dope.
Shout out Sino for the album art.
Shouts out Sino. Shouts out Sino, period. You don't even need a reason. Just shouts out Sino.
Yeah, she's been doing so much art for just a whole bunch of people in the community.
Bro, she's been up on it is, how do you get that good? Like, just every artwork, I'm like, damn, that's amazing.
That Tanjiro one she did for DPS,
right?
Crazy.
And then the mob one she just did for Divide, I'm like,
so good.
I want to make an original song and get the artwork from her. Like, god damn.
All right, let us move on to our couple of news pieces.
All news, all the time. Big J journalism with Nerdcore Central.
Always professional, always.
Okay, what we got like this just in.
Soundboard guy.
I don't have a.
We haven't got one of those in the soundboard yet.
Don't have one of that.
The air horn.
Cut the clip. Cut it. Can you cut?
Cut it.
Let's see. My Hero Academia getting a third anime film in summer 2021.
Okay. I just talked about this on the Connor Quest log that we recorded the other day. This is the worst and at the same time best tagline I've ever seen for a film. Have y'all seen the poster?
Yeah.
I just need to say it as a sentence, as standalone, just so anyone who doesn't know what the tagline is. This is the tagline for the third movie of My Hero Academia. He will meet the Three Musketeers. It's just oh, what does it mean?
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, the people
going. Oh my word. Yeah, but I'm excited for it, regardless of the fact that I haven't even seen the first two movies yet.
What? Wait,
like, I'm up to date on the anime. I haven't watched the movies.
Bro, they're okay. I'm not even gonna lie. They're solidly good. Like most anime movies, like I'll be honest, like most anime movies are not that good. Like most of the Naruto movies are skippable. Just being completely candid. These are well worth the watch because they actually have good plots and they have an arc within the movie. It is. We need to VC and watch them. Like movie night, it's happening.
Hell yeah, I'll do that.
I watched the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
You're wild. You're out of your mind. Crazy.
What is your guys' favorite anime movies, by the way? Because I know a lot of anime movies are not good, but there are like some gems out there.
I mean, Your Name and A Silent Voice are really easy. Those are just great. Most of the Ghibli films are really good. Every Gintama movie is good, but I'm the only person that watches Gintama.
So
it's on my list. It's high up on my list. I just haven't got to it.
When you say favorite, right? You accept like a guilty pleasure favorite.
Sure.
Okay. So the 90s Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, the first one.
Not that one. I take it back.
No. You need to understand, okay? This disc doesn't work anymore.
He pulled out the disc. He pulled it out.
You just have the
work anymore.
For those listening at home, can I get an audio description?
I am holding up
the
actual DVD of the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie.
Okay, this is what the audio description track runs for this podcast. Enraged, Kuro pulls out a non-working Dragon Ball Broly CD.
Did you even open up the case? Did you just pull that out? You just keep it ready?
I watched this movie so many times on repeat when I was younger. The DVD stopped working. It got scratched up from overuse.
Do you just have it?
Yes, it's a memento. You
Is it
asked
play
my
now?
No, I can't play it, but I have it downloaded on my PC. But I would say it's that and One Piece, either Z or Stampede.
I'm going to be watching all of the One Piece movies after I finish the manga. Yeah,
and then
Rusty wants me to watch some of them with him. So
yeah, no, you need to. They're okay. A lot of the early ones are trash up until Strong World, and then Strong World it gets good. But I would say that Z/Stampede, and then I'd probably say Totoro would be my third favorite. You gotta give respect to. You got it. It's just
I really like Ghibli. I'd say one of my favorite is actually Dragon Ball Super Broly though. The Super Broly. I love that movie. Like the animation is so cool, and I love that they like do really weird stuff with it as well. Do you know that movie has like a 45-minute fight scene?
Yeah.
It's like the movie is a fight.
Like the Fast and the Furious of anime.
when I used to work at my restaurant, well, not my restaurant. When I used to work at a restaurant in Manhattan. I live in Brooklyn. It's about an hour train ride, 45 minutes if you know what you're doing. I would literally, I'd step out my front door of my apartment building, and I'd skip to, because I have it downloaded on my phone. I'd skip to the start of the fight, and it would take me up until I get to the door of my job. And I used to watch it almost every day on the train. If I didn't have anything else downloaded on Netflix, that movie is always there to hold me down.
But that movie also introduced the super version of Broly, who is just
superior.
he's adorable. I love him so much. And Chilai, who is just a gem. Both of like Chilai and Broly together are just like that's top tier. That's beautiful.
That is easily one of the best and most healthiest relationships I've seen in anime.
I love it. There's also what is it called? Wolf Children. That's a beautiful film.
Wolf Children. I've never heard of it.
I don't think I've heard of it.
It's called like this long ass Japanese name. But yeah, it's just about this woman who has 2 kids to a werewolf. And the father of the werewolf ends up dying. This is like the first scene in the movie.
Wait,
and
are you the werewolf? Is this Bearbadi?
Me? I'm the werebear. I'm the werebear. She basically has to she moves out to the countryside and tries to raise these kids as they struggle to figure out their identity. Are they human or are they wolves? Are they, are they the good guys or the bad guys? It's like really sweet and really sad. And it's Wolf Children and Your Name are the only films that I've found that I've watched both of them about 4 or 5 times each, and they're the only films that make me cry every single time, multiple times. There's 3 scenes in Wolf Children that make me cry, and there's 2 scenes in Your Name that make me cry. And there has yet to be a time where I've watched the movie where I have not cried. So shout out those guys.
Crazy.
I love crying at movies. I love crying at movies.
Oh yeah. I guess that's something we have to check out. And you are not alone in your love of Wolf Children, because I saw like 4,000 people in chat just caps lock Wolf Children.
Wolf Children,
including and Lyndon. And apparently Alyssa had to grade a series of papers in an anime class that was based on this movie. So,
all right,
you're not alone in your
quality.
Right?
I'm glad.
We got Ross. We slacking.
We are slacking apparently. And also,
there's a lot of good anime movies, to be honest.
Movies that I forgot because I forget to consider them anime. The first Pokemon movie, of course.
Yeah.
And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimensions.
I haven't seen any Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie. Did you see the remake of the Pokemon movie?
It was
really good.
Yet. I didn't
it
watch
was
the remake.
Really good.
It's weird, right? Because I really enjoyed the remake. I watched it. Visually, it took me a second to get into it. But I really liked the visuals once I was over the initial shock factor of like, this isn't what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also slightly re-scripted and slightly like the scenes are slightly different. And I think a lot of like the big old, the climax of the movie didn't hit quite as hard in the remake, but it's still a very good watch and it's ambitious and I like that they did it.
Another really good Pokemon movie. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember a specific scene, and it's Pikachu losing his shit fighting a Ho-Oh or something like that. It was
Fighting
so,
Ho-Oh.
or it was like some like all creamy, but like the demonic version. I need to go on Netflix. keep doing this. I can't. Hold
Kuro
on.
has had a fever
you figured
dream
that out.
after taking like he took some cough medicine while he had the flu, then fell
chilling with
asleep
Mike
playing
Tyson,
Pokemon Heart Gold and has just lost his
SCP.
mind.
He really lost it. The Entei movie also really cool, where like Entei is like the dad.
It's
Have you seen that one?
100%. Yeah,
The
it's
Entei
the
movie I've seen like a clip of. But
yeah, it's Pokemon: The Power of Us. That is the movie I'm thinking of. It is on Netflix. It is not a fever dream. Oh, it was what's the name of that yellow legendary?
Zapdos?
No. New
Is
gen.
it a
New gen.
bird? Is it a dog? Is it a?
It's like it's like a humanoid dog standing thingy.
Raikou? Wait.
No.
What?
It stands on hind legs. Bipedal.
Wait, that's not legendary.
Regigigas?
No, I know what you mean. It's like Lightning Lucario.
Oh, Zeraora.
Yes, Lightning Lucario.
Zeraora.
What did you say?
Zeraora, or however you pronounce it.
Zeraora, is that it?
That's like the yellow bipedal thing. That's
yellow Lucario.
Yeah.
Lucario went Super Saiyan.
Zeraora, right.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Lucario.
It's a mythic. It's a legendary, bro. If I can't catch the grass on Route 1, I don't want to hear it.
On Route 1?
On Route 1.
Geodude, legendary.
If I need prerequisites to capture you, you're a legendary to me. Mythic Ultra. Hey, ice. I don't want it.
Understand.
AI is bugging to hell. All right, sorry for that really long tangent to find out that it's not even a legendary. Wow. But no, honestly though, Power of Us was actually a really good movie. Pikachu loses his absolute shit at one scene, and it is powerful.
I'll have to watch it.
Okay.
So, good so Shwabadi, you are somewhat of a gamer.
I've been known to game.
You've been known to game.
Mm-hmm.
You are PC, from what I understand.
I mean, like I said earlier, I have a stack of consoles over here. PC is a recent thing, to be honest. Before that, I was a console gamer until 2 years ago, and then I switched to PC.
So, is there a chance that we could see Shwabadi with a PS5-ity?
No, because no one can get it.
Next year, I think I'll look into it because I do really want to play Miles Morales. I just can't buy a console for one game. Is my only issue right now.
That's fair.
So I'm like, as soon as something else comes out where I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's hot as hell. Until then, no. But we went.
That's fair. What is your? I guess I would also like just the fact that people still can't get a PS. Like this is like the Switch all over again.
Yeah,
like, there are just
like no. I feel like it's worse than the Switch.
It's way worse than the Switch.
I don't remember the Switch being this bad.
I had no problems getting a Switch. This is impossible to get.
Like, sites are crashing months after release. This is insane. I will say though, as someone who has felt the glory of swinging through the city, feeling free as Miles Morales. Yeah, getting a PS5 solely for this game is 100% worth it.
What I'm waiting for, honestly, is a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, which I think is
that's coming. That's on the way.
That's coming. Like as soon as that comes out, it's fair game.
Oh, okay.
Because that was like one of my favorite games of the PS4. I adore that game.
That game is just like visually stunning to start. Oh,
why is everything within your reach?
Kuro has pulled out. He has pulled out another game.
He's reached to his side and pulled out another disc.
It is in the case this time. It is in the case.
This time it does come with the case.
If you want a fun story, as he pulls out the case from the mystical portal right next to him, he holds it up to the camera and shows dozens of tiny bite marks. Because I lent it to my friend, and he just had a teething newborn. So his kid, whenever he's playing the game, his kid was not bothering him. So we would just give the kid the case so that they kind of just like grip at it. and bite it. And then when he realized he had to return it to me, he looked at me with just so much pain. He's like, so Jenna kind of destroyed the case. Like, how does your barely whatever age-year-old destroy a case? And then he just puts it in my hand. I just feel the texture, and I'm like, honestly, I'm gonna savor this just because of the fact that like this was her teething toy. Like now it's sentimental to me. And he's like, "How did you somehow make this sweet?" I'm like, "I don't know, kind of cute."
Oh man, do you guys want to know the story of how I got my Switch actually?
Yes.
So I was when the Switch came out, I was in graduate school in Ohio. This was like just like maybe a few months after I actually met Game Boy Jones. And so I'm from California. So our weather is very nice. It's always sunny all the time. Ohio, not so much. The day the Switch came out, there was actually like a blizzard that day.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And I'm like, I need to drive to GameStop to get my Switch, but there's a blizzard and I've just never driven in snow, period. Should I do this? How bad could it be? So I'll just go in. So I go out and I'm like driving super slow, and I get there and I get the Switch no problem. But then when I'm trying to get back and I park my car, there's like no parking at my like apartment. So I need to go park in the structure that is a few blocks away. And I'm not even like, I don't even have clothes that are like properly dressed for the snow either, because I'm still new to Ohio. So I'm like underdressed, walking back to my apartment, just holding a Switch case in a blizzard, walking back to my room. And I'm just like, yep, this is worth it.
Why is this so anime to me? Like I just see like honestly, I'm seeing Frost as Tanjiro and Nezuko as the Switch, just braving the winter, just walking through.
Pretty much.
I love that. What a visual.
You gotta. It was a well-earned Switch. That's what it was.
It was.
The fates deemed that you were worthy of this Switch.
Played a lot of Breath of the Wild on that Switch.
And now you can play Breath of the Weeb.
Breath of the Weeb, yeah.
That game, when it peaked and valleyed so hard.
It did kind of fall off, didn't it? In
Like,
like a week.
Yeah. Like there was like a solid 2 weeks where all of us, me, you, Olaf, Rusted, Shofu, Six Sec, everybody, Gray Fox, were streaming Genshin Impact.
I know like 2 people who are playing it now, and no one streams it.
The only streamers that I still see streaming it is like Shofu on odd occasion, Sid Snaps, and Connor the VA. Sea Dog, that was his name. I actually forgot what his moniker was.
Connor
that's
the
his, that's
like
his
Connor
new
the
name.
VA.
Rebranding.
Yeah, right. It's Connor Rapper, Connor Quest, Sea Dog, Connor VA. They're alternating. But yeah, no, it's just rose and fell.
That's kind of what I was expecting Among Us to do. Fall Guys did that in a month. Kind of went, whoa, okay, it's gone. But not nearly as severe as Genshin. And Among Us is like, it peaked and then fell a little bit, but it's still like,
yeah, it's still
way irrelevant, which is crazy.
The numbers are there.
I don't know why right now it's like the last like 4 or 5 years, I feel like attention spans have been getting so short. It's like
100%.
we cannot focus on something or like keep something relevant or talk about something for more than like 24 hours before we're like, oh God, just shut the fuck up about that thing.
I mean,
the last thing I remember people really caring about for more than like 20 minutes is like Infinity War.
Yeah.
Because that was like relevant for like 2 weeks, where it was like in the conversation and people were posting about it. Oh my God.
Had to pump fake.
Professor Kuro, smiling, reaches over off screen to pull a disc. Okay, this time he pranked us though. He didn't actually put anything out. But yeah. It's like the Marvel thing. And then even then, after 2 weeks, everyone was like, "Oh my God, shut the fuck up about Marvel." It's like, can people just like be interested in something for a minute?
So I was having this conversation with my brother, and it's like, my brother can't watch a video for more than 10 seconds. Like he'll be on TikTok, and if the first 10 seconds he's not either laughing or extremely interested, he scrolls past. I'm like, bro, like the video hasn't even started yet. He's like, bro, I gotta go. And I'm like, damn, me and my 20-minute reactions might be in bad tidings.
Like,
Yeah.
ever tried like watching like anime with someone who you're like trying to convince them they're like, oh no, this is really good, but like it takes a little bit, and just like 10 seconds in, nothing happens, just straight to the phone. Like
Oh,
it's so
Oh, that's
disappointing.
tough. That's so
It's
I'm a
tough when
tough.
they
One
pull out
Piece
the
fan.
phone.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no convincing anybody alive. Hey, you should spend 1,000 hours and days watching 1,000 episodes. They're
Yeah.
gonna look at
Well,
you like, is you
it's
dumb,
like
stupid, or
Uh,
dumb?
Hunter is like One Piece Light, right? Where it's like it's a similar issue of trying to convince people to get into it. It's like, no, just watch 40 episodes. It's like nobody's got that time, bro.
But you do. That's a
but it's so good. It's so worth
do.
it.
Like, I swear, if you take the 4 hours that you're on TikTok and you watch Hunter x Hunter, guess what? You're done with most of them.
Yeah. I'm similar though, where like I feel like my time for like entertainment especially is very valuable to me. So I don't want to waste it on something that
Mhm.
where I'm like, it takes so long to get into, and then when I'm into it, it might not even be that good. So I'm like,
No,
I'm
it's
just
tough.
weighing up like the cost of like, would it be better just for me to enjoy something on a shorter period that I know at least that it's safe and I can get into it and there's no, I don't know. It's just life's too short.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I literally had to walk my brother through Greed Island. He's like, I'm bored. I'm like, but the Chimera Ant. He's like, I'm bored. I'm like,
Great Island, fucking
But the
great.
quality,
Oh my god.
you know
it's so
what it was?
good.
Again, my 10 sec. He got to the part where they talked about the cards, and he goes, "I don't want Yu-Gi-Oh in my Hunter x Hunter." I'm like, but it's. And then I showed him the Razor fight, and then we ended up watching the rest of the season straight. He's like, "Oh, okay, so the cards are irrelevant." I'm like, "I tried to tell you that." And then now
I
he's
love the
finally on
card
the
shit. I
Chimera
love
Ant
that.
arc.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta bait your friends with
Um,
like the hot fight scenes or whatever to just get them to watch the full
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
thing.
like, enticing, man. Like, I had to clickbait him. I swear to God, I had to clickbait my brother to
Straight
finish
up.
Green Island.
Uh,
So the final topic that I want to bring up, and this is more of a meta conversation and actually directly relevant to the community. So Mark Cooper launched his website this past week. Or yeah, I believe it was this week. And I realized outside of Mark Cooper and Xiao Do, I don't know of other people in the community that definitely have their own website. Like I know like they have like link trees to like, like stratify
yeah.
like all their links, or like they have
Mhm.
I know
Teespring
Dan
sites.
Bull
And
has a website, but it's kind of there's nothing on there. Last time I checked.
so
Um,
which begs the question, should more creators have their own website?
well, it's the main issue with like if
Oh,
you
and
have a
apparently NL
website,
has one.
if you have a website, what does it do for you? It puts the everything that you have and everything where people can find you in one place. It's a
Mhm.
resource where people can use to find you. Linktree.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I mean, like, how many creators right now are using Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube? It's like most people just kind of stick to one or two.
That's fair.
So that you don't have a colossal list of things that people need to go through. And it's like I feel like the need for an artist to have a website, unless it's a band that is posting tour dates and manages their own merchandise.
Mm.
For us, it's like you have a Teespring link at the bottom of your YouTube page, and that's about as far
That's
as
all
it
you need.
goes.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
I feel
No,
like
that's a fair point.
if you are a person who handles a lot of your own things, and does a lot of things independently, then websites become more and more relevant. But for the vast majority of us, it's just there are online resources that we can just link to from our social media. It's like it just feels so over the top. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't see the need for it at all. But
Yeah. I think for most people, even if they have a website, it ends up being a glorified link tree. And when
yeah,
you're competing against like all these social media outlets for people's time, like people are gonna spend their time on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Are they really gonna end up going to Shwabadi.com and spending as much time as they
yeah.
are everywhere else?
The way I see it is, my Twitter feed basically is my website.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
where and my YouTube community page. Because that's where if I need to post updates or something, it goes there. If I need to tell people what I'm doing and what my plans are, it can go there. There's no need for anything else.
It's fair.
Mhm.
That is actually a very fair point. Because you brought up like the multiple streams. Like, I have a Professor Kuro Instagram. I do fuck all on it. I don't like. I'm mostly on like Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, and then like my Instagram. I'm like, I'll like a friend's post for support.
I think I made a post on Instagram 2 weeks ago, which was like me doing a verse, and I was like, I'm gonna be using Instagram more. Look forward to more posts from me in the next few weeks, and have not posted since.
Yeah. Clickbait.
I was just like, Instagram doesn't even let you post a link under a photo.
That's the problem.
It's just crazy.
And I think that's
like, so how am I supposed to use this to promote my music? I can't even fucking link to it.
Instagram just wants people to stay on Instagram. They don't and just stay there forever.
And the thing is, like, you could only link like through your story, right?
I didn't even do that.
I think you can, but I think
link in my bio.
You need like a certain amount of followers, or I think, to even get the link in story.
I have a link tree in my bio, and under a post I always just say, check the link tree in my bio to find my YouTube channel, and then find the music video that I was just talking about. It's like, how many steps can you give to these people? I feel like Facebook has been dead for creators for like a few years.
Facebook's been dead to me for years.
Yeah. Instagram's like the most pop-in social media for people, like, and to connect with friends and follow like famous folks and stuff. But for like as a creator, there's nothing as useful for me right now as Twitter. Because it's the most direct, useful. I can share something, people can tell me things. It's just, there's no irritating middle steps. It's just there. It's just a feed of shit that I say and people respond.
And it's just more fun, period.
Oh, 100%. The amount of memes, the amount of stupid comments we leave on other people's crap that I will see and be like, Shwabadi commented on this. Yes.
Yes.
My favorite right now is
look, I've caught both of y'all slipping, by the way. I see what you I see what y'all like, okay? I just don't say nothing.
Like, it's no
What
secret.
it is.
It's no secret. It is what it is. My favorite right now is Discord. It's not like, not like a social media, but I used to not really use Discord that much except for DMs. But there's a lot of servers that I'm in right now where it's quite an active community, and there's a lot of cool people in there in the voice chats and in the posting their work and posting all kinds of shit and having discussions that I'm just like, actually this is nice. I just like being in these voice chats. I like being in these text chats. That I really enjoy. Mine is not one of those servers, but I'm trying to make it a better place.
I like the hidden channels on your servers are cool.
Look, the hidden channels in my server are popping.
Yeah,
those things go crazy.
So shout out
public servers.
Shout out the private section of Shwabadi's server. Shout out Breeton's server. Shout out Grey Fox's server.
Is awesome.
Shout out Thigh High Senpai server as well. Those are fun.
Shout out Versus. It's so funny. Do you know what? I look at Discord, and I've never really felt this about any technological aspect. It's a virtual house, and every server to me is a different living room. And like, I'll pop into Brigand server. You got somebody mixing a track, somebody's rapping a track, somebody's watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and then there's 3 other people arguing about anime. And I'm like, cool. This is the life I live anyways. And then I kick it there.
It's really funny. I feel like some people use the voice chats differently in different servers. Like, there's a server I'm in where people just like hang out and they're like, I'm bored, I'm going to sit in here, watch YouTube videos, and if someone joins, we can chat. It's like, cool.
Me and Autumn server.
There are servers that people only use for gaming. Like, in my server, a lot of the time, the VCs only people jump in there if I'm streaming and I drop in chat, or if I'm like, all right, let's play Rocket League or let's play Among Us. You know what I mean? Breeton's server is the weirdest, where people go there to work. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm writing lyrics. I'm like, there are 10 people in here. How can you write anything? Someone jumps in there. They're like, I'm mixing a track. I'm like,
stream
can
opens.
You hear anything?
Stream open.
People will jump in
the screen.
They'll jump into the channel just to deafen and then go to work. and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
I've started doing that. I've started doing that because it's like yeah.
Police will hop in, deafen, and then leave without saying a word. Come back an hour later. Yeah, man. I'm like, when did you come? When did you go?
It's the culture. It's the culture of Britain.
Yeah, it is. I've been doing it where like I'll be in there, like talking to some people out, right? All right, I'm gonna work, and instead of leaving, I'll just deafen myself because I know in like 30 minutes I'll just undeafen myself and join back into the conversation. It's like whatever I'm working on, I can just start working, press my deafen button. Hey guys, what are we talking about? What's going on? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Memes. Let's get it.
Definitely.
Memes. Always memes. Always memes.
It's always memes. Just a good time.
100%.
All right. We are at about time. Shwabadi, is there anything else that you want to let the people know before we go?
Yeah. I'm gonna say look out for something different coming from my channel. I got a big project dropping on Christmas. And then everything after that. That's gonna be like Shwabadi 2. Kind of the Christmas drop is the end of season 1, and y'all gonna see some different shit in the future. So yeah, look forward to it. Look forward to it. Stay tuned. We
Yes, sir.
moving forward. We're leveling up.
Stay tuned. Y'all heard it here first from the man, the myth himself, Shwabadi. If you are listening to this podcast, that is spelled Shwabadi. That is his name on every flipping platform. So if you can't find him, you're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying. If you spell my name in Spotify, if you spell my name wrong in Spotify, it will still come up. If you type Shwabadi, if you type Shwabadi like with like just like 4 eyes in it, it will still come up. I've tried them all.
Have you tried Shwa Habibi?
I haven't tried Shwabadi yet.
You gotta try it.
Okay, I gotta try that.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Who we trying to raid?
Chat. Let's
Chat can decide. Meanwhile, I'll look at my Twitch and see who's actually online.
New year, new Shwabadi. Also, shouts out to everybody that was in chat. We see you guys posting, conversing amongst yourselves, and we'll try to take whatever we can and bring it into our conversation as much and as often as we can. So thank you for being participatory, hanging out with us throughout the whole thing. We really do appreciate it. Y'all keep our energies up and keep us going.
Do y'all not have an outro?
That was the outro.
Brilliant.